Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. Today, our special guest is one of our very own, Miss Joy Langford. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you for allowing me to share my exciting news on ESJ. And drum roll.
You are running for re-election for the Water Replenishment District Division number 1. So we are here to campaign for you. We are here to support you because, guys, Joy is awesome. I've known her for a long time. One of the first people I met in sustainability. When she was working in public-private partnerships, you have 18 years of experience in that. For people who don't understand what that exactly means, it basically means that you help with government, corporations, and the local people get together to do better for the world. What that means is environmental and sustainability initiatives, making corporations better. So Joy, you've spent a majority of your time working on that, helping people, helping communities. But let's talk about the politics of water. What got you into this? What got you into the Water Replenishment District?
Well, over the past 18 years, I'm starting to date myself now. I have been involved in climate change issues before it was even something that people were talking about, that people were really taking seriously.
Yes.
I had been involved. I was selling LED lighting to major municipalities here in Southern California, trying to make sure that we were energy efficient. Was very successful in doing that. And as you know, LED lights have they've become normalized and, phased out into other technologies. But I've always liked to be on the cutting edge of climate technology. So moved on from there, ended up at the legislature about 10 years ago, working for Assemblywoman Autumn Burke. I never thought that I would even get into politics, but it was so much fun. And my background as an economist was just very helpful to the position. So I was helping out with policy, mostly environmental policy. So I worked on wildfire policy, EV charging destination stations in the state before those even became popular, and just air quality issues. And that also translated into my consulting business, where I consulted on air quality issues, all sorts of environmental issues. So when this position became available due to the passing of a real legend in the African American community as it relates to environmental, Willard Murray. He is also a former assemblyman. He had the seat before I did. And when he passed, I went in for the interview and the rest of the board voted me in unanimously. And as of February, I have been director of water for Division 1 of the Water Replenishment District. For those of you who don't know what water replenishment is, we capture groundwater. We make sure that water is recycled. And as a result of it, we service at Water Replenishment District over 4 million people. And we are 98% self-sufficient with our water supply. We have several plants all around the city, and it is just our goal to make sure that we have enough water, especially in light of what is going on around the rest of the country and globally with climate change.
Apabsolutely.
That's all? No, I'm joking. So it was just February of this year that you were appointed to the position. How has it been? Like, what do you see coming?
I feel like,
let me put it that way. What are you most excited about?
I feel like I have just slid into this position. It's like an ordained position for me. I already know about water policy, working at the legislature and following Water Replenishment District very heavily for the last 6 or 7 years, touring their facilities even before I became the director. So I just feel that there's going to be there's going to be a lot of change, and I'm already working on that change. I am the chairwoman for the External Affairs Committee. We are working on an extensive diversity and equity study to make sure that not only our staff is diverse, but that we're bringing in people to the field of water, which is really important right now. I believe, post-pandemic, people really need direction in the career market. I know that there was a great resignation, and young people are trying to figure out where to go if college is not an option for them financially or just study-wise. And I really have been out in the community for the last 4 months, promoting what we do at WRD, promoting to young children what we do. I'm at more events than I was when I was even at the legislature. In some of the hardest hit communities like Compton, which is part of my district, Carson, and South LA, just trying to be a positive influence, show people what a career in water actually looks like, what drought and conservation measures look like, providing seedlings to the children so that they can plant their own little individual gardens, providing shower timers, all kinds of little yummy goodies that, both kids and adults like, to try to garner people's attention, not only to the water crisis that we're facing right now, but to what water means to us and why we should just respect it.
I love the fact you brought up DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion is huge. And a lot of people, they don't associate it with social justice. They think they're these separate compartments. And we need to address things as a whole, all together, working together. And, your support for your community. Now, I know for a fact that you have supported your communities ever since I met you, which was about 10 years ago. You've provided water to people. Whenever somebody needed something, you jumped up and you got it done, which I can't say that for most people who work in politics. You jump and you run and you get it done. So folks, listen to that. She's a primary candidate for this. Now, your future goals, what do you see in the future for the replenishment district?
I see more hiring. I see more job training, definitely making sure every community is represented, the API community, not just African Americans, the Latino community, which is really doing a great job right now with WELL and a few other nonprofit programs promoting water. I just want to be the wind beneath their wings and push that out in the community, making sure that if there's an event where we can educate, we are there. Water Replenishment District is there. And if I can physically be there as well. It's something that's near and dear to my heart too. Just community organizing, being out amongst the community, garnering all of the support that I've gotten from all of the local city councils, all of the people in the community that are just really pushing behind me, whether it's with endorsements, financial support, just in-kind gifts and items to help keep this campaign momentum going for the next 83 days.
And it's only 83 days, so that's a short time frame. That's
very.
We do have one comment. It's actually a very good one. In the recent news, there was a lot of talk about the severe drought, and that has caused our soils become something called hard pans. So water won't absorb. So we're actually now at a high risk for flood. And the question was primarily, about how can we capture this runoff, it's not an easy question. There's a lot of infrastructure that has to go into it, a ton of engineering. Are there plans to hopefully start improving our water reclamation?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I've been working on, and we're trying to go to vote on. We're trying to build another facility in Torrance. We already have one in Torrance for water recapture. It's going to be over $100 million facility. So we're doing our part in Water Replenishment District's 4 million people service area to make sure that we are going to be able to capture as much water as possible. Now, as far as the Army Corps of Engineers and what they're going to do, if this flood becomes catastrophic, we are also working with them on it. I actually have a meeting in a couple days with Janet Napolitano. So we are really working on it. And not only are we working on it to make sure that we have a safe and sound infrastructure, projects like that bring lots of jobs to labor. So I'm really super excited about that, to be able to keep people employed, work on anti-recidivism efforts, making sure that people are really trained for these jobs, no matter, you know, your race, class, or creed, or what your past looks like. We are really putting that in play today, while I am on the board, to make things like that happen. So it's exciting, and believe me, we are working on it at every single level.
Well, it's funny that that question came up, because I know recently there's been news, and there's been a couple, sorry, totally getting off tangent here, but this just popped in my head. There was an article over the weekend where they're talking about mega flooding and how that's the new thing, because we are over 100 years past due, I think it is, for the 30 days of rain, which we are known to get. And so where they're basically talking about LA would be flooded, infrastructure gone, like $1 trillion project. So yeah, sorry. That's
well,
just,
look, you don't even have to, Joel, you don't even have to read the tea leaves for that, right? You see what's going on in Las Vegas. You hear, you get articles daily about what's going on the Colorado River. 60 Minutes did a huge piece this past Sunday on these exact issues. So they're saying that on the long term, if we still stay on this trajectory that we're staying on, it'll be less than 10 years before we are completely dry on the Colorado River, which is a main source. Now, fortunately, we do not, at Water Replenishment District, really pull off the Colorado River. We're replenishing our own water. But nationally, this is a severe problem. And, you know, the climate change, it's not just about producing water or the infrastructure. Climate change is really an issue that all of the people in environmental, as well as the community, are going to have to stop closing their eyes to.
Yeah.
We're all affected by it.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that's great is, I mean, you have such the history, you know, I mean, you're only 22, so I'm impressed by your history, but you've been involved in environmental issues for so long that to see you be coming into this area where, let's be frank, there's not a lot of passion around water. I'm just going to say it.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of news for it. There's a lot of us understanding that we need conservation. We have droughts. All the buzzwords are out there. But you actually have this history of working, you know, LED before it happened, car charging before it became cool. You know, so it's like this has been something that's for you, that, or rather a personal mission for you, for a very long time. So it feels like this is the natural progression of where things are meant to go. So, I mean, I know we're running out of time. So how can people learn more about you? How can people get involved with your campaign, support you, and learn more about what they can do for water in general?
Well, my campaign website is joy4waterboard.com, and that's JOY and then FOR, waterboard.com. Feel free to look me up. It shows all of my works that I've done in the community. There's also a donate button, a get involved button, for anybody who's really interested in learning about my passion for water, my vision for creating clean, safe, and affordable drinking water for all citizens in Los Angeles. It's just paramount. This is not just a political position for me. And sometimes you find in politics that this, you know, people get into politics, they were a dog catcher before, and now they want to be vice president, you know, of the United States. This is something that I actually have a passion for. I've actually been involved in so many levels with, and that's just, you know, where I've been with the situation. So I'm just excited, and I just, please take a look at me at joy4waterboard.com, and feel free to get in touch with ESJ as well. should you need more information. But there's a link also to get in touch with me on the website. And I look forward to just representing the passion that I have and the passion that I want my communities to have in Los Angeles for a pressing issue that hopefully we as a group, if we get educated enough on it, that we can turn this situation around and be a beacon of hope for everybody else, for all of the other local and national cities that are facing water crises as well.
But I want to just touch on something that you said really quick, which I think is super important when we're looking at anybody in a political thing. This is not let me show you how it is done. It is let us work together to create a solution. And I think that is so important for people to hear and understand, is that you're out there, you're working with the children, you're talking to the community, you're actually saying, this is how we can come together to create change and how we can really work on these issues. That is so important for people to hear and understand. And I want to make sure that they get that.
Absolutely.
Well, Joel, that is my goal. I am the incumbent so far in the race, so that's always a good thing. But I look forward to the next 4 years as well, really being a beacon of light and merging this with other climate change issues and goals, and working with people at the state, national, and even at the level of just working with the people to create common messaging that everybody can understand and utilize and go from there. So
awesome.
And I love the fact, working together, obviously you've been doing that your entire career, but communication, you are an expert at. You talk with people, you don't talk at them, you don't talk down to anybody, you work with people and you make everyone feel valued. That is a special gift that very few people have. So I commend you for that ability. So guys, please vote for Joy Langford, Water Replenishment District.
November 8th. Yeah.
November 8th. So time is coming up. Look up, Joy Langford, Water Replenishment District, Division number 1. Very important to know which division we're talking about. And we thank you. And, obviously you're a co-host with ESJ, so we see you frequently. But I love highlighting our own people because what you do is so special.
Thank you, Wendy and Joel, and thanks for always being the friends and the compadres that lift us up.
Oh, we try, but
Are you saying we're the wind beneath your wings now?
Yes, you are.
Full circle. Thank you. Thank you for putting that song in my head. I appreciate it. First thing.
This will be an all-day thing.
I know.
All right, guys. So check out Joy, Water Replenishment District, Division number 1. Vote for her in November. Very important to have someone with her qualities, her characteristics, and her initiative. This is not somebody that sits back on their laurels and just waits for something else to happen. She gets it done. That's what we need in this world. Take care. I am Wendy Nystrom, your host with Environmental Social Justice, along with my co-hosts, Joel Vendette and our incumbent, Joy Langford. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.